Welcome to Cooking with Nick, the cooking class that will show you how to prepare a quick and healthy four-course dinner in a short amount of time. There's nothing more important than eating dinner with your family as often as possible. With a little preparation and some quick tips from me, you will always have time to make dinner for your family. So if we're all ready to cook, let's get started on our meal for today. Okay, what we're going to start with tonight is for our Greek meal, we're going to start with the meatloaf part of our meal. And that's got a whole bunch of stuff in it, feta cheese, and I'm going to use ground beef, just, about 2 pounds of ground beef. And this will be enough to make about 9 or 10 individual little meatloaves. What I did, you can see here, is I kind of portioned it out a little bit, and I did that just so I would know how many we were going to make for tonight. So we have all that in there, and basically what we're going to do is throw everything in the bowl. Okay, I'm going to take an onion, and I'm going to grate it. And I like to grate the onion because you get all the juice from the onion, and then you don't get those little pieces where you just chomp on it, but you get the nice little flakes of onion. So we're just going to grate that in there. And this is a small onion, not really a big one. Be careful you don't grate your fingers in there, okay, or fingernails. Okay, scrape off the back. And I like to do this part because I don't like to chop onions because my eyes always tear. Okay, so we got that in there. I have 2 eggs in here, and I smartened up since the last class. I was carrying the eggs around and always had to wrap them and put them in. So my wife, who's much smarter than I am, said, why don't you just put them in a little container and then you can just beat them right in there. I said, you could be my cooking assistant. Okay, so we have 2 eggs. Just going to throw those in. Just give them a little beat because you want to make sure that they get mixed in. Okay. I have 4 ounces of feta cheese. And it's much cheaper if you buy the feta cheese in a block than if you buy it crumbled. The crumbled is the same thing, except it's about twice the price. So we're just going to crumble this in here. You're going to have a lot of feta cheese tonight because the watermelon salad has feta cheese in it also. So, and when you're using feta cheese, you've got to be real careful about salt, okay? Because that tends to have a lot more salt in it. Okay. Oops. Got that in. I have some crushed red pepper flakes. Okay, you know that's going in somewhere along the line. Okay. Gives it a little bit of kick. A lot of Greek cooking has oregano. Okay, so I'm going to put some oregano in here. And that's going to be one of the dominant flavors you're going to taste when you taste this. That makes it different than a regular meatloaf. Okay. This is Italian seasoning, and this has again a little bit of oregano, basil, all those Italian spices. Put a little bit of that in there. Okay. And just to show you that I do use minced garlic sometimes, I'm going to use this. And I'll show you that we use that. So we're going to put some of this in. And usually about 1 teaspoon is probably about a clove, a large clove of garlic. Okay, so if you're using this and you want to figure out how much is going to be in there. Okay, put that in. And I'm going to put in about a cup of, as soon as I get all the seasoning and oregano off my menu recipe here, I'm going to put in about a cup of breadcrumbs. And I am going to measure this because I don't want it to be really bready. Okay, you don't want it to be mealy tasting. If you put too much breadcrumbs in it, it gets mealy. So you saw me use a measuring cup. I do use that sometimes. Okay, so we got that in there. I'm going to add about a 1/4 cup of milk just to give it some moisture in there. Yeah, I measured that pretty good. Okay, put that in there. I'm going to give a little splash of salt and pepper, not a whole lot, okay, because of that feta cheese. Okay, and then we're going to add some chopped Move that out of the way for a minute. Some chopped green olives. Now these are called salad olives, and they already have the pimento already in them, and they were already chopped up. But what I'm going to do is dice them a little bit because they're still a little bit large. And I'm just going to get them so that they don't, you don't get great big pieces, because these are basically cut in half. And that's going to give it that nice little tart taste because it's got a little bit of a brine in there. And again, you got to be careful with the salt because these are in brine, so you got salt in there. I'm going to put a little more. Doesn't look like enough to me, so I'm going to. And if you don't have the salad olives, just go. Just use the whole olives that have the pimento in it. Okay. Okay, so we got everything in there. Just a little bit of dried parsley. I have somewhere.
Right hands on it.
No, that's Italian seasoning.
Red.
Oh, there you go. Okay. And I'm going to use the dried in there because sometimes if the fresh parsley's on the outside, it'll burn. So I'm just going to use a little bit of the dried. Okay, let me get this out of the way. Basically what we got to do now is get it all mixed up. Wipe this down a little bit so the bowl doesn't slide off and hit Arlene. Okay, I'm going to bring my pan over. I'm going to bake these on just a regular old baking pan. Okay, so what you want to do is just get your hands in here and mush it all together like regular meatloaf. And what you want to do is make sure that like the cheese and the olives are all evenly distributed through the meat. Okay? But don't over mix it because then it makes the meat tough. So just do it so it's in there. Okay, then what I'm going to do, when you make the individual loaves, what you want to do is just start grabbing handfuls and plop them down on your sheet, so then you can go through at the end and shape them and adjust it so they're all about almost the same size, okay? Because you don't want to get to the end and I know Barb doesn't want to get a small little meatloaf and everybody else has got a big one. So, okay, so you just start. If you want to, you could use a cup. You could use a measuring cup. And basically what I want to get 9 out of this. Because we have to feed the cameraman. Okay, so I got 9. Let's see. I have this little piece left, so what you do now is just start. Okay, you look a little short over here, so we just.
But now, when they're that thick, do they only take 20 minutes?
Oh, no, I got to shape them. I'm going to shape them into little meatloaf. Okay? I just wanted to measure on here. So, what you do now is just start. Start rolling them so you get a little meatloaf. Okay? That's the key to getting it done in 25 minutes. You want to make sure that, that they're a little flatter than the regular. You can't. That's why if you do it in a loaf pan, you have to increase the time to 50 or 60 minutes. Okay, because then it's kind of thick. This is the part you get your husband to do. It doesn't have any nuts in it, so he'll eat it.
Yeah. Hey, we'll have a company Saturday night. We're going to have chicken biscuits.
Oh, there you go.
He's a good cook. He doesn't do it often, but he is a good cook.
Okay, so this doesn't really take a whole lot of time. Now you could make it up to this point, and do them this way, and then freeze them. Okay, then you just have them in there ready to go when you want them. Or you could cook them and freeze them. You know, then they're all done for you. But- Okay. Those are all set into the oven. Okay, I'm going to Okay, I put the timer on so I don't forget that. I'm going to give my hands a quick wash. Now I'm going to start the dessert because that has to go into the oven for a little bit of time also. Not very much. And this is another one of those desserts that I'm going to show you how to make that everything goes into the food processor. Okay, or you can chop it by hand if you want to do it that way. Let me clear this off a little bit. Okay, the little phyllo cups that we're going to use. Now this package has 15 in here. So you get, they're small, but you'll get a nice little bite. Okay, they come like that. Okay, and then pop them on here. And then basically all that we have to do is get the filling heated through on these. So you're not really cooking a whole lot, you're just heating it. And these mini phyllo shells you find right next to the phyllo dough, you find them right in the freezer section. And they're already cooked, so you don't have to really do anything. What was that?
Ice cream too?
Oh, well, you want to put ice cream here? No, I don't know. You're surprised that we don't have an ice cream dessert. I know. That's my favorite thing.
She said next door.
Oh,
Next door. In other words, with her.
oh. Okay, the shells are on the tray. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the food processor to put everything in. Let me bring it over here. Last week was, our kitchen was like the week from hell because my wife, I was making something in the toaster oven, and all of a sudden it starts smoke coming out of it. I mean, from the dials, So that was that. So then I was making stuff for that party I did in Lakewood, and my food processor went. And those were expensive. So yeah, so it was like everything went. So I said I emailed my wife at work, and I said, well, that's two. I said, those things come in threes. I said, God, I hope it's not the electric wine bottle opener. I said, it's the only thing that's left. So, okay, I have all my ingredients over here. This has all the ingredients like a baklava. Except I'm going to put some dried apricots in it because that gives it some nice texture and moisture, like that. And a little secret ingredient is a little breadcrumbs when we mix it up. And that gives it a nice little chewy taste. Okay. So we have, these are almonds. These are blanched almonds. You can use, the whole almond, whatever kind of almonds you have. I just happen to have these blanched almonds in there. Just throw those in. And some walnuts. I know it says chopped, but we're going to use the food processor, so let me throw some of those in. What am I going to do with that? Throw that in. Okay. Got that in. I'm going to add some plain breadcrumbs. You don't use the seasoned ones. Okay. Just a little bit of that. And I have some sugar. Sweeten up. We're going to add honey to it. So, okay, a couple of tablespoons of sugar. Okay, I have some ground cloves that I'm going to add. The cloves tend to be pretty strong, so don't put too much of that in. Some ground cinnamon. Okay. Before I put the apricots in, I'm going to give this a whirl. Get this chopped up first, because what happens in the food process, sometimes they're chewy, and it might stick to the blade a little bit. So we want to get it going a little bit. Okay. I'm going to pop these in now and see if this will help get that going. In the meantime, I'm going to put a little bit of butter in the microwave to get it melted. Okay, I'm just pop this in here. Okay, that's all set. So let me see if we can get this almonds, the apricots chopped up. Okay, get a bowl. So this is basically going to be our filling. See, it's nicely minced. And the apricots are chopped a little bit, but they're not teeny. You know, you could still see them in there. Okay, get this out of the way. Get my butter. You put the butter in there, give it some moisture. Okay. I'm going to add some honey. And after they're done, we're going to drizzle honey over the top of them again, so we get a nice little taste. Okay, we'll just mix it up. You want to make sure that the honey and butter gets on everything. So if you were making baklava, the traditional way, you would take your phyllo sheets, you would layer them like a piece of paper. You take one, you spread it with butter, and then you put another one, and you keep going like that until you have about 6 layers. And then you put some of the nut mixture over that. Then you do that again about 4 more times. And then when you get to the top layer, you cut it in diamond shapes, and then you put honey on the stove, melt it, and drizzle the honey over it and let it soak in. And then you bake it. Okay, so yeah, that's a lot of work. That's too much work for me. I mean, and then if you go to buy baklava, it is so expensive. Okay, so we have that. Now what we want to do is fill the cups. And they're probably going to take, maybe a good teaspoon, tablespoon. Just push it in there. And these smell wonderful when they're baking. You'll be able to smell all the cinnamon and I have 30 on this tray, so There'll be 3 apiece when we go to eat.
May look delicious.
This is the boring part, but you'll just have to watch me do it. Because it'll be worth it when you eat them. And again, if you wanted to make your own phyllo cups, you could do that. Just take those, the 4 or 5 sheets of phyllo with the butter in between, and then, cut them in little squares so that they fit in your mini muffin tin. And then put them in there, put them in the muffin tin, and then put the filling in it, and then bake them. And then you'll see they'll be done when the phyllo turns crispy on the outside. Takes probably about 15 minutes, because the phyllo cooks very quickly, because it has all that butter in it. Plus, if you make them yourself, the shells are bigger, so you get more filling in there. Okay? You could use a regular big muffin cup if you get more filling. Okay, almost have these filled, a couple more. Okay, got them all filled. Oop. A couple of them are kind of stingy. Let me go through this again. Okay, those are all filled. Let me get this out of the way. Give my hands a quick rinse. I'm just going to put those in the oven for about, 10, 15 minutes, and we'll be all set. Meatloaf looks good. Okay, we got that going. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get the salad going, because that'll be the first thing you're going to eat. And this salad is very, very simple. Clean up a little bit so we don't get all the walnuts and everything in our salad. Although that would be good.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, let's make the sauce for our cucumber sauce. Get that going. We can let that chill a little bit. Okay, I have to rinse this because I got to use this. This just had the onion on it, so this is not too bad. Okay, I'm going to shred. This cucumber is huge, so I'm just going to shred it right into the bowl. And you want to leave this, shred the peel part, because you want to get that nice green color in there. But just go around the edge of it so you don't get all the seeds in there. Just keep turning it. So you actually end up with like a square. This is going to get nice and juicy because it's got all the water from the cucumber is going to go in there. And we're going to use plain yogurt. And you can just buy this, 8 ounces, just plain. You don't want any flavoring in it because we're going to add our own. Okay, just get that in there. And add some garlic powder, a couple of dashes of garlic powder. Okay, and a little bit of red wine vinegar. Just to offset that sweetness. We put a little bit of salt and pepper. You want to be careful because you're going to put this sauce on top of on your meatloaf pieces. So you remember the meatloaf has the feta cheese in it, and it's going to have a little bit of salty kick to it. So don't go heavy on the salt on this, okay? Just give that a quick mix. This is going to be a little tart, because of the red wine vinegar that's in there, okay? This is dried dill. Okay, put some of that in there. If you make this during the summer and you have fresh dill, throw that in. Okay. Remember, if you use the dried herbs are a lot stronger than the fresh ones. It's either my pacemaker or the oven. Okay, looking good. I always put stuff in the oven, and I set it at intervals like 15 minutes for the timer, because if I set it for like the whole 35 minutes, I'll forget it's in there. So, so I always have to be reminded. Okay, so that's our sauce. A little taste. See if it needs a little more dill or whatever. Yeah, it's the only way to tell. You have to taste it. Good? Yeah, okay. Now you could use that same sauce as a dip for vegetables or crackers or whatever you want. I'm going to stick it in the refrigerator just to keep it cold. And that's all set. So we have that going. Now we're going to do our salad. Okay? What I have here is leftover Italian bread, or if you have sourdough bread or whatever kind of bread you have. And, you want it to be a little crunchy. You don't want it to be real soft. You can't use fresh bread because it's not going to absorb all the flavors, okay? So I'm going to put that in there. And if you're in a hurry to do this, what you can do is to, if you have your oven on like 200 or real low, put them on a baking sheet and put them in there for about 15 minutes, and they'll crisp up. Okay? So it's a nice shortcut. Okay, what I'm going to add now is the watermelon. And you're just going to cut the watermelon into little cubes about the same size as the cubes of the bread. Okay? And I'm not making any promises on this watermelon because it's the time of the year where you're not, you hope it's going to be a little sweet, but we'll see what happens. Because during the summertime, the watermelon is delicious with this. Okay, that. And I have another little quarter. We'll see how much this produces. I wasn't sure. Sometimes you buy it and it's like almost all rind. So you get big watermelon, you get this much watermelon. So we're going to cut it into cubes. And we're just going to throw it into the salad. You're going to put the bread on the bottom because you want it to start absorbing some of the liquid. And this is a salad you could make ahead of time and just let it sit in your refrigerator because all you want the bread is just going to absorb the liquid. So Okay, one more piece. Okay, got that in. Going to add some red onion. And I have about a half a red onion here. And you want to get it in fairly thin slices because you don't want really big pieces of onion. I guess it's a purple onion. I don't know why they call it red onion. It's not. Okay, just take it and separate, squeeze them so you separate the slices. Okay, got that in. And then I have some mint. You know, in Greek cooking, they use a lot of mint. So this actually survived the past couple of nights in my garden. So we're just going to give that a chop. You could chop the top part of it, but when you get down to the woody part, you really don't want to eat the stem. So that part you're going to have to pick the leaves off, okay? But the top part is fairly soft. But mint is one of those things, if you have it in your yard, like it takes over like 4 acres, like in a year. You know, it just spreads like crazy. The best thing to do is really put it in your garden and put it in pots so it stays contained. Otherwise, it just spreads. Oops. Okay, so I'm going to throw that in. What this is going to taste like? I know, it's just like an odd combination, but it really tastes unusual. I'm going to add a little bit of salt and pepper because if you add salt to watermelon, it brings out the flavor a little bit better. So I'm going to add a little bit of that. Otherwise, you would just add, if you have a real sweet watermelon, you would just add black pepper. Okay, the only dressing we're going to use on this is raspberry vinegar. You can get this right in any, right in Tops uptown. Okay, and it's, I thought it would be kind of nice. That's why I made that sauce there. It kind of tastes like that sauce a little bit, So, just going to drizzle some of that on. And then we're going to crumble in some feta cheese. Okay, so this is going to be add a nice little salty piece to it. And just crumble it in there. If you like, you can get the feta cheese that's flavored. They have some that has the tomato and basil in it, or some has oregano in it. That would be nice in here too. That's it. That's all that goes in that salad. Okay? So you don't even have to make dressing. You don't have to get your little jar out and whisk anything. You just put that in there. Okay? My kind of salad. Okay, so let me toss that. Clean up a little bit. And you guys are going to start eating. Okay. This is one of those salads where you really can't use tongs, so you want to get a nice big spoon. When you're tossing stuff like this, you ever see them when they pick up the bowl or they're tossing? It's because when you toss it like this, you want it to fall back into the bowl, not over toward you. Okay, so just hold it at a little bit of an angle. Okay, that looks good. This one escaped. I'm just going to pop in a little bit more dressing on here. And the bread is starting to soften up already. I could see it when I'm tossing it. Okay, time to eat. First course. Okay, I'll put this over here. Plates are over there. Help yourself. I'm going to start getting the side dish ready. Okay? Everybody had the salad and some nice unusual taste there. Okay, our baklava cups are just about ready, so I'm going to take those out of the oven and let them sit a little bit while we get our side dish going. Now, these have been in here for like 15 minutes. Okay, so that's all that takes. Meatloaf looks good. So that's basically what they look like when they come out. Okay, they get nice little brown and crunchy. Okay, and before we serve them, we're going to drizzle some more honey on top of those. Okay, so I'm going to put those in the back, let those cool. Otherwise, you won't be able to pick those up. Okay, for our side dish, what we're going to do is I have in this pot over here, I have about 3.5 cups of chicken stock. Okay, just regular, low sodium chicken stock, because you want to control the salt that you use. So always get low sodium or no sodium, or make your own chicken stock. Okay, so we're going to bring that up to a boil because that's going to be for our couscous. And again, I have couscous in here and has a little bit of flavoring in it. There's some, you can get plain couscous and just flavor your own. Put a little bit of garlic powder, a little bit of salt and pepper, some parsley flakes, and a little bit of Parmesan cheese. Okay? Because if you go buy it in those little packages, it's about $3 for that little package, which serves about 3 people. So just buy plain couscous and just flavor your own, make your own. Okay, and I like to use chicken stock. You can use water if you want, but the chicken stock gives it a nice little flavor. So what happens with the couscous, because it's so small, as soon as this comes to a boil, you throw the couscous in, give it a quick stir, put the lid back on, take it off the heat, and it's ready in 5 minutes. Okay, and again, it's a pasta. In this pot, in this pan over here, I have the vegetables we're going to add to. We're going to saute some fresh vegetables and mix that in with the couscous, and that's going to be our side dish for the meatloaf. Okay, so I have this pan going. So we used half of an onion when we made the meatloaf. So when we made the salad, we used half of a red onion. So I had the other half here. So what I'm going to use a red onion in here instead of a yellow onion. Okay, which is you have yellow onion, you want to use that, that's fine. But this just has a little bit of a milder taste. Okay, so we're going to saute all the vegetables. We're not going to saute them so that they're all mushy. We're going to saute them so that they're crisp, because you want to taste it when you eat the couscous. Okay, and I'm just going to give it a quick chop. Not real. I don't want to mince it. You just want to get it so you can see the pieces. Okay, right into the pan. Everything's going to go in here. Okay, got the last part of that onion in there. Have a half of a red pepper. I'm just going to chop that again. You want the pieces to all be, not real little. And if you don't like red pepper, you can use green. I like the red pepper much better than the green peppers. So, plus it gives it a nice color. Okay, I have some celery. You could put in whatever vegetables you like in this dish. This is your dish. Okay, this is a good recipe to use to clean out the bottom drawer in your refrigerator at the end of the week. You have all that stuff in there. You have a little half of an onion, half of a carrot. Just chop it all up, throw it in some couscous. Okay, I'm going to put in some carrot. Okay, that's boiling now. I'm going to add the couscous in there. Give it a stir. Shut the heat off. Take it off the heat and just let that cook. Okay? That's all you do with couscous. It takes 5 minutes. Okay, I have the other piece of carrot. I have some mushrooms that we're going to add. These are just regular white mushrooms. You can use whatever kind you like. Just give them a little chop. Again, make sure if you're sauteing mushrooms and you put them in oil in the pan, do not add salt, okay, until the very end, because what happens is the mushrooms will absorb give off the liquid, the salt will draw out the moisture, and your mushrooms will steam and they'll never turn brown, they'll never get any color on them. So just make sure that you don't add salt until the end. Okay, I'm going to add peas to this, but we're going to add them at the end, because these are just peas I took out of the freezer right before I came, frozen peas. All we're going to do is throw them in at the end just to get them heated through, okay? And then they'll maintain that nice little crunch. Okay, we want to get that. Everything nicely coated with the oil. And again, remember, we don't want to really cook these too much because we don't want them to get mushy. Okay? I'm going to chop up some parsley that we're going to add at the very end. And again, this was like the last bunch from my yard, you know, so I think the rest of it's, the frost got it, I think. But I always grow the herbs in, in a big pot and keep them on my deck because then they're right outside the door. And I have a little sculpture in my backyard, and then we have some herb sage around that and some mint. You know, just it's cheaper than planting flowers. Plus, you could eat it. Okay, so. Okay, so we got that going. Okay, it's got some nice little color on it now. So what we want to do, I'm going to add my buddy, crushed red pepper flakes. It's not on there, but you know, you got to throw some in. Give it a little kick. Got to keep you awake while you're driving home to Brockton there.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to add just a little bit of salt and pepper in here. Okay. It's much easier to have people add their own salt and pepper if they want, you know, at the table. Whoops. You can see the nice color on this. Can you see up in the mirror? It's got beautiful colors in it. Because the couscous is basically plain pasta, so we're going to just mix it together at the end. Ooh, that's hot. Don't have to worry about that being hot. Okay, I'm going to check the meatloaf. Good. Okay, that's what they look like there. Okay, so you get a nice portion. There's a nice big portion there. Put these over here for a minute. Let them cool. Okay, all right. Thank you. Couscous is looking good. Okay, so I'm going to take care of this. Okay, I'm going to take the baklava cups and put them on a dish. Okay. Nice and crunchy. I'm going to drizzle them with a little bit of honey. But you have to eat all of your dinner, otherwise you don't get any. So. Oops, let me get another dish. could smell the cinnamon and the cloves. It smells so good. Okay, spread those out. Okay, before I do that, I'm going to take our couscous and I'm going to mix it right in here. Okay, it's just looks like a very, very small pasta. Okay, which is what it is. It's a pasta. If you wanted to use tabbouleh in this, if you like tabbouleh, you could use that in here. Or if you wanted to use orzo, you could use orzo pasta. It would be the same thing. I just like the couscous because it's fast cooking. Okay, now all we want to do now is just make sure everything is all mixed together. Okay, I'm going to put our parsley in. Parsley gives it that nice little lemony flavor. Okay, drizzle a little olive oil on top. Oh, the peas, yeah, I'll get those in there. Get the peas in, and they basically defrosted. They defrosted by the time I got here from my house to the school. So. There, see that has a nice, all different kinds of textures and a nice flavor in this. Okay, that's done. I'm going to pop this into a bowl. Okay. Put it over there. There's our side dish. And again, you have that 2 cups of couscous. You can see how much that makes. It makes a lot. Okay. So we got that done. Okay, I'm going to put this over here, and you guys are going to help yourself to dinner. Okay?
Come on, Joe.
Let me pop this over here. I'm going to put the meatloaf right on the stove off to the side. Okay, this is where you have to get up. This is where the waitress is not on duty. Okay, everybody finished the meatloaf? Not everybody, some people are still eating. But we're going to finish our dessert. Again, we took them out, and they're nice little, crispy little cups filled with that nice filling with apricot, nuts, and honey, and cinnamon, and all kinds of stuff. What we're going to do to top that off is we're going to drizzle some honey over the top of it. You could do that. You could sprinkle it with powdered sugar. You can basically top it with what you want. Okay, so I'm just going to... I like honey, so I'm just going to give it a quick little drizzle. Make sure you hit each one of them a little bit. Then they make it nice and sticky, you know, best part. And there we go. So I have nice little baklava bites. Quick, easy, not all that preparation that you have to do with baklava, and our dessert is all ready. So if you're ready to eat, I have some plates up here, some napkins, because you know you're going to get honey all over your fingers, and we're all ready to eat. So that's the end of our meal. We finished it in fairly good time, you know, about under an hour, really, to do the whole meal. So you can have a 4-course meal in under an hour, which worked out really well. So dessert's ready, and you're ready to eat. Come on up and help yourself. And I hope to see most of you at the next session when we start our next group of classes. Well, that was our cooking plan for today. I hope those of you in class enjoy eating the meal prepared, learned a few new cooking shortcuts, and will try these recipes at home. To those of you watching at home, I'd like to thank you for being with us and encourage you to join us in class. And remember, from my family to yours, always make time for family and friends by sharing a great meal around your kitchen table.